And now highlighting another Louisiana artist, this one takes a different approach for the sake of authenticity. Instead of painting an alligator's scales from memory, she catches them and she uses a Japanese art form to print their bodies onto a canvas. I got to tag along with Leslie Charleville through that entire process, and it was an interesting one to say the least.
I've done a lot of things in this career, but hanging out on a boat seems to be a reporter's rite of passage in Louisiana. And today, I'm embarking on that journey with Leslie Charleville.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Leslie is an artist with a unique medium. She documents marine life in their most authentic form. She's printed fish, crabs, anything really. But her most difficult task is documenting these creatures, Louisiana's unofficial mascot, the alligator. To start, you have to go on a hunt. We're out in Orleans Parish in the marsh, where pieces of rotten chicken are hanging from a pole. And that's just the beginning.
What were his hopes and dreams? Okay.
Yep, that's roll it. All right, can you grab the leg?
Like this leg?
Yep, the string's cut.
Okay. Ah! Oh, it is a boy! Is that what y'all? Oh my goodness. Here's the leg.
The first gator was pulled in pretty easily. Leslie's second, however, that was a horse of a totally different color.
Okay, so the thing is, if the front legs come over, you got them with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just gotta get the front legs over. So I'm gonna grab the head.
Just got same tack to the back.
If somebody can each grab a leg.
Yep.
Louisiana is extremely strict about who can hunt these creatures and how many they can take. A hunter must be licensed, and they have to tag each alligator they harvest. Plus, all of this is reported and monitored to the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. It's kept the population steady for decades now.
He's moving a lot. And then he's not moving yet, but I'm sure whenever he does, he will scare us all.
After catching 4 alligators, it's back to the dock to start the art process.
People request a specific size when they're working with you.
People request specific size and color combinations. So you'll see, like behind you, we've got a white. Those are things that are requested.
Okay.
A blue on a white canvas, white on blue canvas, white on gray. So we've got some very specific requests.
What is this actually called, what you're doing?
It's called Gyotaku, and it was originated in Japan back in the 17th century as simply a means of documentation to record the size and species of a fisherman's catch.
Okay.
And so I think the first documented Gyotaku print was a red snapper. It was an emperor that went out fishing, and he had his servants on the boat with rice paper and sumi ink, and they made the print right there on the boat. And it was just, like I said, it was documentation. And over the years, it's one of those art forms that, you know, was always around, but kind of not really faded, but it wasn't quite as popular. And then in recent years, it's really revived. And I guess, I don't know what this would be called in Japanese, because Gyotaku literally means fish rubbing. So whatever alligator is, that's what this would be called, but it's a rubbing, you know, it's a nature rubbing.
Yeah, I see that. Makes sense. And
Yeah.
how did you get into this? Was this always the plan to sell these types of prints?
No, it was not. My background is in painting and drawing, and I come from a country, fishing, hunting, outdoor loving family, and so those two worlds collided, you know, my background in art and then, you know, my upbringing, and it just was really, that's kind of all she wrote, you know. It's the perfect storm of my passion and my upbringing and what comes natural to me.
This process is extremely precise. You have to match up your roller just right, otherwise you'll end up with something Leslie calls the butterfly effect.
You're going to do the entire body, including the whole tail?
The entire body, yep. Again, you just kind of follow where it would not create that butterfly effect, even on the head, because if you go all the way down to the jaw when you pull it up, it's not natural, like butterflies.
You don't want him to look unnatural. You want to get the natural curves of his body.
Yes, it's the nature of what the art form is. Like you're capturing you know, the likeness of this alligator. I mean, without making a print, he would be harvested, he would be gone, like not to be remembered. And now he's gonna live on forever in somebody's house or on their wall. From hunting to documentation, and you can still clean them and eat them and, you know, save the meat. So his DNA is on the canvas.
After Leslie is done with her art, she takes the alligators to a processor, where every bit of its body goes to use. The hide is given to licensed fur dealers, the meat ends up in stores for consumers, and the art ends up on someone's wall, where they can see all the details of this animal up close.
It's definitely a lot of work. But it's a fun process, and the way I view it is that it's something that not many people get to do. Half of the crew here, it was their first hunt, their first time, seeing an alligator up close, and so I consider myself really fortunate and blessed that this is very normal to me. It's a normal part of life, and I meet the coolest people, I have the best stories, and I don't take it for granted. It's not my interpretation of what an alligator looks like. This is what it looks like.
To Leslie, this is a preservation of culture. It's where Cajun roots meet an ancient tradition, one that won't be forgotten or tarnished by an artist's paintbrush, where it can be admired in its truest, most authentic form.